Hey, Jules Blessed Vegan, and as always, welcome to my channel. And for those of you who are new, I know you can benefit. So we're talking all things sprouts and microgreens. Like, that's where I'm at right now, seriously. I just want live food for a live body, with all this COVID going on and, oh my gosh, re-quarantining, dare I say. And of course, I'm in the hot spot of California, literally and otherwise living in the high desert, right? So I just want to make sure that in the event of contracting it, I have my best chance. And I know that means a healthy body. It really does. So I am going for it. This is going to be my summer of health, friends. All right. So this is an article on raw sprouts, benefits and potential risks. And it's from healthline.com, one of my favorites, because they're always efficient. They usually summarize each of their points, and there's always a bottom line. And I'm a bottom line kind of girl. The only thing I will say is they often reference testing on animals, and for that I am sorry. It's still good information. One thing where it indicates potential risk, I don't want to be a naysayer, but, raw sprouts, hello, that's the only way God grows them. They're always raw. Like everything he does is raw. Thank you very much, Father. So what's interesting, I guess you might use sprouts in like stir fry or something, that you might end up cooking them, but obviously all the things that I am growing on my counters at this moment are raw. And I will say that I'm familiar, people have that joke, it's like a meme going around, every time I go on a diet, lettuce ends up having E. coli, so I'll stick with my dead hamburger or something. And I'm like, seriously, do you know that it was the runoff from your animal that you killed to produce that hamburger that sadly got into the soil of which healthy fruit and vegetables were growing, hence the E. coli, right? Like, come on. Let's keep it real, but let's go with the article. They're always science-based, and I'm happy to share. Of course, I will include it in the description of this video. So it reads, many people regard sprouts as nutritional powerhouses. Yes, please. For starters, they're rich in many nutrients. They're also said to improve your digestion and blood sugar levels. So important with the rage of diabetes, right? And possibly even fend off heart disease. However, sprouts are also frequently, and I think frequently is not a fair word, occasionally and almost rarely, but it says frequently linked to cases of food poisoning, which makes people question whether the potential benefits are worth the risk. This article takes a comprehensive look at the benefits and dangers of eating raw sprouts to help you decide whether you should make an appearance, whether they should make an appearance on your plate. So first of all, what are sprouts? I'm so glad you asked. Sprouts are seeds that have germinated and become very young plants. So the seed casing is finally busted out and a little shoot is coming out and they're becoming very young plants. This germination process usually begins with the seeds being soaked for several hours, and I always soak mine for usually at least 8 and more like 12, but simply overnight, right? Put some water on at dinner time, check them out for breakfast. The soaked seeds are then exposed to the right combination of temperature and moisture and allowed to grow for 2 to 7 days. The 2-day is for sure the beginning of a sprout. The 7-day is getting closer to a microgreen. The end product is generally a sprout measuring 1/8 to 2 inches. And again, it just depends. My gosh, my mung beans, lentils, chias, they're off the charts on how quickly they grow. Whereas the broccoli, the radish is a bit slower. It just depends. Many different types of seeds can be sprouted, and here's a list of the most common types of sprouts available on the market. Under bean and pea sprouts, these include things such as lentil, adzuki, garbanzo, soybean, mung bean, black bean, kidney bean, green pea, and snow pea sprouts. Wow, so interesting. I've only done lentil. I tried garbanzo. I wasn't that successful. They got kind of weird, like slimy and weird. Mung bean, amazing. Yeah, I could try all of those. Okay, then sprouted grains. So you can actually sprout grains such as brown rice, buckwheat, amaranth, kamut, quinoa, and oat sprouts. I love that. I have a lot of quinoa, which because I don't cook anymore, I'd be interested, because I even have rainbow quinoa, I'd be interested in trying that. There's no wrong, people. There's no wrong with sprouting. That's what's so beautiful. You just go for it. Put it in that water, soak it overnight, rinse it once a day, and watch the magic. Okay, vegetable or leafy sprouts. These include radish, yes, broccoli, fine, beet, mustard green, clover, cress, and fenugreek sprouts. I'm trying fenugreek right now. I'm super excited. I love the smell. Okay, nut and seed sprouts. These are almond, radish seed, alfalfa seed, pumpkin seed, sesame seed, or sunflower seed sprouts. I just got some sunflower seeds. I'm going to have to look it up. I hear they're a little tricky. Sprouts are generally consumed raw. Yes, thank you. But may also be lightly cooked before you eat them. Here's the summary. That's what I love. Sprouts are seeds that have been allowed to germinate into young plants. They're usually eaten raw and are available in a wide range of varieties. Okay, subheading, they are very nutritious. Despite being low in calories, sprouts are a rich source of nutrients and beneficial plant compounds. Their vitamin and mineral content varies based on the variety. However, generally speaking, the sprouting process increases the nutrient levels. I love that. Making sprouts richer in protein, folate, magnesium, phosphorus, manganese, and vitamin C and K than unsprouted plants. For instance, several studies that show sprouting helps increase protein content. Sprouts also tend to contain higher levels of essential amino acids, with certain individual amino acids increasing by as much as 30%. In addition, the protein in sprouts may also be easier to digest. Of course, less work on the system, right? This is likely due to the sprouting process, which appears to reduce the amount of anti-nutrients, compounds that decrease your body's ability to absorb nutrients from the plant, by up to 87%. And another thing I appreciate about Healthline is that there's always hyperlinks, and when you click on them, you can get additional information. So those anti-nutrients are hyperlinks. Sprouts are also great sources of antioxidants and other beneficial plant compounds. Moreover, studies show that foods made from sprouted beans may also be more nutritious. For example, tofu and soy milk made from sprouted soybeans appear to contain 7 to 13% more protein, 12 to 24% less fat, and 56 to 81% less anti-nutrients than tofu and soy milk made from unsprouted soybeans. Wow, super interesting summary. Sprouting tends to increase nutrient levels in the grain, legume, vegetable, nut, or seed being sprouted. Sprouts also contain lower levels of anti-nutrients, making it easier for your body to absorb all the nutrients they contain. I love that. Okay, subheading, sprouts may help control blood sugar levels. I'm just praying for the whole wide world. I mean, my gosh, our darn diet is just a circular nightmare of all of the problems it's creating. And yet, unless we get off the Ferris wheel, we have no choice but to continue in that direction, right? All right, sprouts may also help you keep your blood sugar under control. Again, a hyperlink. Some studies indicate this may be partly because sprouting appears to reduce the total amount of carbs in sprouts. That's cool. However, not all studies agree. Another theory is that sprouts may have an increased ability to regulate the activity of the amylase enzyme, which the body uses to properly break down and digest sugars. One study followed a small group of people with type 2 diabetes, the most popular kind, right? Type 1 tends to be children, people who are born with it. Type 2 tends to be environmental, meaning, of course, your obesity and lifestyle can generate that. And which also means a change in lifestyle can easily cure. Yay. Half ate 60 grams of lentil sprouts per day along with their normal diet, while the other group simply consumed their normal diet. By the end of the 8-week study, those eating the sprouts had experienced a 10% reduction in levels of hemoglobin A1C, a marker of blood sugar control. That's awesome. Ooh, I got to think of how I can sneak these into my husband's diet. On the other hand, these levels increased by 12% in the control group. On a side note, My husband's watching all the action, right? Wow, those sprouts are really growing quick. Geez, I didn't know your microgreens would turn out. Man, you must feel... I'm like, dude, keep showing interest. Keep showing interest. I would love him to join me in the insanity and blessing known as the raw vegan lifestyle. Okay. In another study, people with type 2 diabetes consumed a powdered broccoli sprout. You know, they have that, like I have powdered juice. Why am I thinking? It's wheat powder? Wait a minute. Why am I thinking? Oh my gosh, hold on. Okay, juiced wheatgrass powder. I slipped a brain cell, sorry. Yeah, I totally have that in powdered form, which I love. So they actually have powdered broccoli sprout. Brilliant for people who cannot stand, although I figured out how to control the smell, yay God, the process. Okay, resulting in lower blood insulin levels and insulin resistance. Fabulous. The authors attributed these improvements to the high amounts of antioxidant sulforaphane in the supplement. Despite these encouraging results, it's worth noting that few studies appear to exist on this topic and more are needed before strong conclusions can be made. You know, that's kind of the problem. A lot of people, though it is improving, do not readily fund the vegan lifestyle, and a lot of vegan lifestyles can't afford to be funded. So they don't get the proper certification and stuff, so there's not as much evidence on the market. But anyone living the lifestyle knows the truth, right? It's coming. The summary: sprouts may help people with type 2 diabetes better control their blood sugar. However, more studies are needed to determine why this is and whether these results also apply to people without diabetes. Well, sure, yeah. All right, subheading: they may improve digestion, which I had no idea how many people have digestive issues. Wow. Sprouts may help you digest your foods more easily. Studies show that when seeds are sprouted, the amount of fiber they contain increases and becomes more available. So important. Oh my gosh, we desperately need our fiber. People don't realize there's no fiber in dead meat. None. For instance, in one study, grains allowed to sprout for 5 days contained up to 133% more fiber than unsprouted grains. Wow. In another, germinating beans, until they sprouted, were 5 millimeters long, increased. Okay. So, in another, germinating beans until their sprouts were 5 millimeters long, increased their total fiber content by up to 226%. So, yes. In addition, sprouting appears to reduce the amount of gluten found in grains. Who doesn't welcome that, right? Which may make them easier to digest, especially for people sensitive to gluten. Finally, sprouted beans, grains, vegetables, nuts, and seeds contain lower amounts of anti-nutrients than their unsprouted counterparts. This makes it easier for the body to absorb nutrients during digestion. Love it. Summary: sprouts tend to contain higher amounts of insoluble fiber, which can ease digestion and reduce the likelihood of constipation. Sprouts may also contain lower levels of gluten and anti-nutrients, further improving the digestion process. Yes, please. All right, subheading: sprouts may improve heart health. Including sprouts in your daily diet may also benefit your heart. That's mainly because sprouts may reduce risk factors for heart disease, such as high blood cholesterol levels. Several animal studies show that eating sprouts may increase good HDL cholesterol and reduce total and bad LDL cholesterol levels. I'm counting on it. I was supposed to get my blood done in June, but blame it on the COVID. You know how crazy it is to get into labs or anything right now without a major reason for it. And I don't really have a major reason. But as I'm continuing to eat this way, I will be thrilled to see if my HDL went up. I pray, and my LDL went down. I have never exceeded the high amounts that they say are a problem, but I would still like to improve even more. Okay. Researchers also note that rats, given sprouts, well, I don't mind that, may benefit from blood cholesterol improvements similar to those resulting from taking the cholesterol-lowering drug atorvastatin, so some kind of a statin, atorvastatin. Anyway, okay, But doesn't that mean they're feeding the rats the drugs? That's my problem. Similar results have been observed in humans. Yay God, why don't they just stick with the humans? There are so many volunteers, let's be fair. In one study, 39 overweight, and obese, what's up? People with type 2 diabetes no longer were split into two groups. One was given 60 grams of lentil sprouts per day, whereas the other received no sprouts. So 60 grams is about 4 tablespoons, or like a fourth cup, okay. Anyway, at the end of the 8-week study, the group that had consumed the lentil sprouts had 12% higher levels of good HDL cholesterol and 75 to 84% lower levels of triglycerides and bad LDL cholesterol compared to the control group. I so welcome that. In another study, people with type 2 diabetes who were given 10 grams of broccoli sprout powder per day for 4 weeks benefited from an 18.7% decrease in triglyceride levels and significantly higher levels of good HDL cholesterol. In comparison, those given lower amounts of broccoli sprout powder or none did not benefit from significant changes of their levels of triglycerides or HDL cholesterol. Finally, another group of researchers reported that eating 100 grams of fresh broccoli sprouts per day, so that's like 6 ounces, not even a cup, for 1 week, just 1 week, decreased LDL and total cholesterol in men and increased HDL cholesterol in women. What? Although those results appear promising, few studies have been done on this topic and more research is needed before strong conclusions can be made, blah, blah, blah. Sprouts may improve heart health. This is the summary by lowering the bad LDL cholesterol, total cholesterol, and blood triglyceride levels while increasing good HDL cholesterol. I'm so in. Okay. Subheading. Raw sprouts may contain harmful bacteria. So here's the story. One issue often linked to eating sprouts is the risk of food poisoning, and that's a hyperlink. The fact that sprouts are generally consumed raw or only slightly cooked adds to this risk. The reason raw sprouts are especially risky is because they must be grown in warm human conditions in which harmful bacteria such as E. coli and Salmonella also happen to thrive. I don't know why they're saying warm human conditions. I'm in the desert, man. It gets hot, but I'm in my house and there is no humidity in here, seriously. And my sprouts are thriving. Over the last 2 decades, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has linked 48 outbreaks of foodborne illness to raw or lightly cooked sprouts. Okay, 48 outbreaks in 24 years. Is that twice a year? So twice a year. If food poisoning occurs, symptoms may appear in 12 to 72 hours after eating the sprouts and can include diarrhea, stomach cramps, and vomiting. Such symptoms are rarely life-threatening. However, children, pregnant women, the elderly, and people with generally weaker immune systems are recommended to thoroughly cook sprouts to avoid them completely. The following tips should help. 1. Buy chilled sprouts. Only buy fresh sprouts that have been properly refrigerated. 2. Check their appearance. Avoid purchasing or eating sprouts with a strong smell or slimy appearance. You think? Oh my gosh. Store in the fridge. At home, keep sprouts refrigerated at temperatures under 48. Like the minute mine are done growing, or I've decided I'm not growing them anymore, I put them in a Debbie Meyer green box, which is this great container available on HSN. It allows like gases to escape so the food stays fresh longer. I put them in a Debbie Meyer green box in between 2 micro towels or even organic paper towels if that's all I have. And first of all, I'm eating them, but they do last for days. Okay, and then wash your hands. Always wash your hands properly before handling raw sprouts. Summary. Sprouts are prone to contamination with harmful bacteria such as E. coli and Salmonella. Children, pregnant women, the elderly, and people with weaker immune systems should consider avoiding raw sprouts. Subheading. How to include sprouts in your diet. Sprouts can be eaten a variety of ways and are easily incorporated into a variety of dishes. For instance, you can eat them raw in a sandwich or tossed into a salad. Sprouts are also easy to add to warm meals such as rice dishes, stir fries, omelets, soups, or freshly made burger patties. Other interesting uses for sprouts include blending them into smoothies, so yes, and pancake batters. It's so great when you can hide them, right? And your kids don't know. And grinding them into a paste. Oh, I didn't even know this. Excuse me. I accidentally petted my dog and didn't wash my hands. Or grinding them into a paste to spread on bread, crackers, or vegetables. Okay, I'm so interested in that. So interested in that. Anyway, of course, I use them in soups as well. I love them with my bananas, like just fresh, grab a handful of each. There's just so many fantastic ways. And just eating them. And what I've been doing is sprinkling different flavors on them. They just take on the flavor, and I'm just eating them like a no-calorie snack. And just getting in all of that vibrancy, right? Okay, sprouts can be eaten raw or cooked. They're also easy to add to a variety of meals. Bottom line, sprouts are very nutritious. They may also offer a variety of health benefits, including easier digestion, improved blood sugar levels, and a lower risk of heart disease. However, keep in mind that they are also associated with the risk of food poisoning. That said, for the majority of healthy people, the benefits of eating raw or lightly cooked sprouts likely outweighs the risk. Word. All right, my friends, as always, like if you like, join us if you haven't, subscribe. Let me know in the comments below how I may support you. I'd love to hear, are you sprouting? Are you microgreening? Are you considering it? Whatever you're doing, it's all in the direction of health, and I love it. Until we talk again, know that I pray for you and know that you're blessed.